I just noticed that a character named Grimware finally has a mod that showcases his design. So in this video, I want to give you the updated lore for this character that used to be called Skinwalker back when the Sonic.exe mod was just released. Now, the first thing to understand is that Grimware is not a person, but rather a virus that can infect people and take over their bodies. The worst part is that the virus doesn't allow the host to stay alive in any way, but instead slowly devours them from the inside until they are nothing more than an empty husk. Very similar to the Cordyceps virus if you played the Last of Us games or watched the TV show. Now, many of you are probably wondering how Sonic ended up being caught by a virus, considering how fast and powerful he is. In the timeline that this story takes place, Sonic was having a battle with Dr. Robotnik on Angel Island. And for those of you that are not familiar with the island, it's basically this floating rock here. And during the fight, Robotnik ends up knocking Sonic off the island and down into the ocean below. And while Sonic is fast enough to run on water, he's relatively slow when he's actually in the water. And this is when the virus attacks him. And since Sonic had no way to fight it off, it slowly started to eat his insides. And that is why when we see him transform in the mod, we can see like black and yellow when he opens his mouth. That is the form that the virus has taken. Now, taking Sonic's body wasn't enough for the virus because its whole goal is to consume more and more and add more victims to the virus hive mind, which basically means that the virus can send pieces of itself out in the world to consume people while keeping all those pieces connected to the main body. Now, in this version of the story, once Sonic was completely taken over, the first person that he attacked was Dr. Eggman, which makes sense because he was already in the area. But once Sonic didn't return home for a while, his friends actually went out to look for him as well. And while the story doesn't say exactly who went looking for Sonic, we can assume that Tails, Knuckles, or Amy at the very least. And in the end, they were all taken over by the virus as well. Something else that I want to point out that this mod did very well is that they actually have the wounds on Sonic's body that kind of shows where the virus actually started attacking him. And something creepy that they did is when Sonic is idle, his eyes are still moving back and forth, almost like he's watching somebody. It's a very small detail, but super creepy, and I love it. Now, I know that the Sonic.exe craze has long passed in the FNF community, but I do hope that we get like a revamped or a completed version of the Sonic.exe mod in the future, because the mod was a banger and there were a lot of interesting characters that had to be scrapped from the mod back in the day. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, check out this video on the screen here, subscribe today to become a member of the Oris Force, and we will see you tomorrow with another video. Peace, peace.